Okay, do I want to do OnlyFans?
Let's get her done.
Nobody's here,
You just look like a bag of dicks.
and I hate it.
You're fucked.
What should I do?
I would use alcohol.
Yeah, I think my answer would be pretty much the same.
Your dad's here.
Oh, yeah, this is an easy way to make money.
The end of the day never fucking comes.
Leah, you've been in my group longer than most of the other girls that, they've come on the pod so far. And you typically post about 855,000 times per day in the group with your voice notes. And I like it because you're always putting out a lot of value. You're always putting out a lot of interesting stuff in the group. But give us a little bit of backstory about who you are and what you do.
Okay, so essentially I'm Leah. I'm crazy. No, not really. I've been in the sex work industry for over like 10 years. Not essentially been online, but doing other things like dancing.
So were you all, did you have kind of like normal jobs growing up, or were you always kind of like finding your own stuff to do?
Oh no. Oh my God. So what have I done? Oh my God. So I've been a welder. I've done waitressing. Oh, one of my first jobs I ever got. Oh my God, it was so crazy. It was the best job ever. Okay. Right when I got into high school, I actually got hired at one of the top oil and gas companies. And it actually just got bought out by a US company a couple of years ago. But I got this fucking killer job. Literally I got picked out of like 2,000 people. So I got in, and that job I was working Monday to Thursday, 10-hour days, and then I had every Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And then during that, I actually had a friend who was like, "Oh my God, Leah, do you want to come be a dancer?" And I was like, "Yeah, bitch. What kind of dancing? We're doing hip hop, jazz. Like, this would be great." No, not that type of dancing. But sure as shit, just like any other girl in this industry, we all get addicted to the money because, we're not just doing this for fun. Like, this is like any other job. Why do you do it? Money, right? Everyone is like literally drawn by money. Like, and OnlyFans is great because it's like a way for me to express myself. But obviously, like, I'm not putting in work for free. It's a hobby. Yeah, I guess you kind of have to look at it like that too, because like if you're not having fun and you're not enjoying it, then you're just not going to do it, right? But at the end of the day, I get paid, and that's what we're all here for. We're here to get the fucking Ferraris and the Lambos, and the Louis Vuittons and the Gucci's. But yeah, so back to my job. So I worked in like waitressing, I worked in dancing, I worked in the oil field, I worked in the patch, I've worked in the call center, I've done editing, I've built websites, not very good ones, but I've been there, So that's just a little background about me, I guess.
You said you've done a lot of other jobs like welding and all that kind of stuff. Like, how do you end up getting into those kind of fields?
So I worked in the oil patch, and then when I first graduated high school, that was such a dope job. Oh my God, I worked in the summer student. I crashed in trucks on that job. It was a really good time. We had some other summer students that grew weed at the fire station, or anyways, can't all get into it. Yeah, so I ended up developing, so I'm sober now. I have dabbled with drugs and alcohol for like the past 10 years, unfortunately, but whatever. It's like a learning experience for everyone. And it was for me, for fuck's sakes. But so I ended up meeting this guy, and he didn't want to see me as a stripper anymore. And he was like pretty cool. And he was like, "Hey, do you want to come to Fort Mac and come work with me in oil?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." And then I ended up coming with him to Fort Mac, and literally, I really hope he doesn't watch this, because he was the worst welder ever for me. He was a really good welder for him, but I think he just wanted to bring me up there just to take me out of the life that I was in, but he didn't really want me to take it seriously. He just kind of wanted to show me that the world was different. Thank you for that. But like, I actually wanted to go up there and like try and get a job in like the oil field or do something other than what I was doing. So he ended up getting canned.
There's a lot of guys out there, basically the average person who doesn't really understand how this industry works, when they see the girls on TikTok or, on social media, whatever, the first kind of thing that any average person thinks is, oh, this person's so lazy. They don't want to work. They're just dancing around on social media,
Oh
whatever.
my
And
God.
so, yeah, so for you, who's kind of been on both sides of the fence, how would you compare the amount of work with, this industry versus, the real jobs, as people would call them, like, oil industry, all that stuff you've done before?
They're called civvies, Scotty. That's what they're called. The civvies. The squares. Sorry. You guys are all living in a box. The square. Kidding. Sorry. Okay, not you, but just say. So I thought it was gonna be really easy. And I'll make a pile of money. You know what I mean? And that's not how it is. It's literally like you grinding. It's a 24/7 grind, and it never stops. Like, I'm currently traveling across Canada, and I'm not lying when I say this. I literally will stay up until, like, I did it today. I was online till 6 o'clock in the morning today, and not necessarily online talking to my fans. You're editing, you're doing these games, you're taking pictures, you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Like, I'm not on all these right now because I can't. Essentially, it's like you can only spread yourself so much before you get overwhelmed. It's really difficult because everyone's attention span nowadays is like, you have 5 seconds, you have 10 seconds under the mic, impress me, go. That's essentially what it is. Because like TikTok, Instagram, everything is like so like short, like attention span. So when you're on OnlyFans and you're talking to that creator and she's talking to you, like it's just her, and you're not getting their response right away, you have to realize that she has not only you, she has 1,000 other men on her page or 1,000 other people on her page, and they're all trying to get your attention. Like, ding, 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 ding. If you want an generic response, hey baby, how are you? Like, sure, by all means, like I'll give that to you. But if you want me to actually tell you how my day is, you're gonna have to give me a second and let me breathe.
What would you say is the, between, say, physical labor jobs versus this whole like online social media, like which one is more exhausting at the end of the day?
This one, because this one, at the end of the day, there is no end of the day. I'm sorry. The end of the day never fucking comes. But like, I'm just saying, in most jobs, you work a shift, whatever your shift may be. Maybe it's the shift you're working welding, you're working a 12-hour job. Maybe you're a nurse, you're working a 12-hour shift. But at the end of the day, what you're going to do, you're going to leave the hospital. You're going to leave your job at work on construction site. You're going to go back to wherever the hell you lay your bed, you lay your head. You're going to eat, you're going to have a shower, you're going to turn off, unplug, relax, okay? Online is 24/7. So, and not only that, you're just constantly like, there's always a new TikTok sound. There's always a new Instagram niche or thing coming out. There's always something that you can be working on at OnlyFans. So you have to learn to unplug, or else you mentally exhaust yourself. And that's like the hardest thing for me, I can say, because I have really bad ADD and I'm just always thinking of ideas and always wanting to improving my page. Always, I want to just keep going and going.
Is that something that you're still like actively struggling with, or everybody struggles with it to some degree, but do you feel like you found any kind of solutions or ways to like compartmentalize the business and kind of, package it up in a certain way and unplug like that?
I don't know. I will try to you have to take breaks for yourself where you essentially go to the gym, go tanning, just like unplug. And
by the way, if you want to learn the best systems and strategies to grow your social media and really level up your skills to get more fans consistently, be sure to check the link down in the description below, or you can scan the QR code on the screen here. Remember, average skills are going to give you average results, and average is not going to pay your bills in this business. It's up to you to master these skills and learn how to properly promote your account if you want to see real long-term success in the business. And now back to the podcast.
Sorry, my ADD is running at a high where I'm just like, woo. See, I'm like this all the time. People in the Telegram groups probably think I'm high on drugs, but I'm not. Like, I literally, in the past, okay. So I haven't touched drugs in probably over 2 or 3 years. Like, let's just come out of the door with that. It was more so for alcohol for me, and I was using alcohol as a crutch because I'd get super stressed out. And then I would use alcohol, and then I would binge drink, and then I'd become really depressed and really unhappy, and I would go through waves of productivity for me. But like the thing about this job for me is like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this like 100%. I'm gonna give it my 100% attention. And I was like, I wonder how much I could get done in a year if I was sober the entire fucking time. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's be sober 100% of the time. Let's see how much we can accomplish. And even if I don't accomplish anything, I'm not gonna, like, I'm still gonna accomplish sobriety for a full fucking year. But I'm also curious how it will work with my Onlyfans and every other aspect that I give in life. Like, for the past 10 years, I've been like partying like a rock star. Right now is great. But like, let's see what I can do now that I'm sober. Let's see how much I can get done. Let's get her done. Let's give her. So, okay. So that's just a touch base on that. Yeah. So back in 2017, my fiance and I were going through a rough patch. So we started seeing other people. And essentially what happened was I saw the wrong guy and he recorded us having fun together, and he uploaded me to Pornhub without my consent. Yeah, I didn't know for 2 years. And then what happened was I started getting like these weird messages on my phone, and he was stalking me. He was stalking me and tormenting me and telling me that I was on Pornhub. And I was like, dude, I'm not on Pornhub. I don't know what you're talking about. I would search myself. I would Google myself. It wouldn't come up. Nothing will come up. And then, oh, this is just the fucking kicker, man. This is literally the universe being like, you're fucked. Yeah, so I actually remember it was that day. I was actually up in northern BC, British Columbia. I was working a job, and I just finished my job, and I was at my hotel, and I was having a drink. It's like I have such a good memory on what happened. And I was having a drink, and I was sitting there watching I was watching Game of Thrones. Like, wow, Game of Thrones, the last season. Let's go. I'll give you guys a time zone. I was like back in 2017, and I got a phone call from my fiance. We were like I said, we were going through a rocky patch, and he was like, "You'll never guess what I just found online." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "I found you." I'm like, "Where?" He's like, "On Pornhub." My fiance, that I was going through a rough time, I like broke down in tears. So this guy put me on Pornhub without my consent. He took pictures that he found, I don't know, Instagram, social media, wherever, and he spliced them into the video, and he said, "This is her," but he changed my name. And I was like, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with what he's done to me? So I contacted Pornhub. I tried to have it removed. Every time I had it removed, guess what he did? He put it back up. You just, that another username. It was just like internet trolling, like boom, 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 boom. So I got really depressed. I got really upset. I didn't know how to handle it. And it was just like, I think I became more of an alcoholic, more a drug addict than I've ever been in my entire life. So I didn't know how to deal with it. And then I talked to my girlfriends like a year later, because like I was just like, well, fuck, it doesn't matter what I do. He's just gonna keep deleting it. And then I know some people in the industry, and I would like pull the video off. I still have it on my computer. I don't look at it, but I still got it. And we were able to find out where it was recorded, because the guy had like literally, he tried to take out the timestamp, but he flipped it. So we unflipped it and we like spliced it. We found out the day. Thank God for Snapchat. I went back on my Snapchat stories, because everyone loves Snapchat. You go back on your Snapchat stories, and I found out the day and the time, and I found out exactly where it was taken. So that kind of narrowed it down, and I was like super fucking pissed. So anyways, I talked to one of my girlfriends, long story short. I talked to one of my girlfriends, and she's like, "Leah, you gotta go to the cops." So I went to the cops. I talked to the head constable of the cybersecurity in all of Canada and US. Is a big time deal. And yeah, he's like, "We're gonna get this fucking taken down. This person has not only done this to you, he did this to all these other women." And I can't, this is the part that I can't talk about. He did some things that I can't really talk about here. I can't talk about, I can't badmouth him or anything, because like I get in huge trouble for that. You know, like I don't want to be charged with like defamation of character or any of that crap. But yeah, so I had it removed, and it was a long process, but something, the police was like, I told him I was going to start OnlyFans, and he's like, "Leah, if you start OnlyFans, we won't be able to prosecute, because his lawyer could argue that you allowed this, because like what your job is." Was something that he did was like, it was concerning for public safety, right? And they really wanted to prosecute him. So at that minute, I knew that as a person, I was like, this guy needs to be like on the sexual offender ban list, and he is.
What would you kind of suggest? Because there's that. I mean, that's a pretty crazy situation, and there's other girls out there that are in similar situations. What's kind of the biggest thing you learned from that whole thing? What would you kind of suggest to other people that are might be going through something like that?
Yeah, I've had some women in the industry contact me that have had their exes put them on Pornhub or somebody, and they're like, Leah, can you help me? I'm like, bitch, I got you. Here you go. Here's the number. Boom. I was like, here you are. You're served. Like, you are not served, but here, I'll give you what you need to handle this. But I would say if you're dealing with that, like malicious ex-boyfriends or whoever it may be, if they don't have your consent, like you can go to the police and you can have the RCMP, and in most cases they'll help you. Or there's websites out there too that can take your content down.
What would you say is kind of like the biggest red flag? Like if you could go back in time, or like looking back in retrospect, was there any kind of red flags that you saw with that relationship that, like, knowing what you know now, you could be like, oh, this is definitely a red flag and I should have got out of this relationship or something like that?
Oh no, that the Pornhub dude, that was a Tinder date. that was that was a Tinder date. That was like, oops, sorry. Yeah, that was like first time meeting kind of thing. He recorded me on a fucking watch. It wasn't a fucking camera. It wasn't like he wasn't like, here, hold on, let me just put my phone right here. Down I mean? It was a watch. He had put a watch down on a counter, right? And then so again, the video wasn't very clear. And the only way that he you were able to really tell it was me because he talked about my tattoos. What was your tattoo say? And I pretty much gave a huge storyline about how I got my tattoo and stuff.
No, your parents. You mentioned your parents are, they go to church and stuff, maybe conservative. Like a lot of other creators are in that situation, but their parents are like super conservative, and they'd basically like disown them if they found out OnlyFans. How did it take a while for your parents to kind of come around, or were they just
Oh no.
accepting right away?
My parents, I remember I told you I was a dancer in the beginning. So I started dancing. I started working at a club. And then what happened was, um, I think my dad actually came into the club one night. And thankfully, my girlfriend, she fucking was like, oh my God, Leah, your dad's here. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure your dad. And thankfully, she just met him the week before. And yeah, so I didn't go out that night on stage. I like quit. I was like, no, like my manager was like, you have to go out. And I was like, you want to suck my dick. Like, I'm not going out there like that. And then my dad was like, hey, I saw your girlfriend, I think at a strip club. And I was like, no, you didn't. No way. And he's like, no, I'm pretty sure I did. I was like, no. And then just kind of was like, hey, dad, look at this. Something shiny over here, Like, let's avoid this entire conversation. And then, okay. So what happened was my parents did eventually find out on their own. My dad's a smart little fox. I bought my mom at Apple TV. This all goes together. This is how they found out. So I bought my mom an Apple TV, and then my dad was bitching because he wanted an Apple TV, and he only wanted one because I bought my mom one. They are like children; they both need one. So I bought my dad one, and then they didn't know how to figure it out. So then I had to send a friend over there to show them how. And then essentially, I was, fuck it. I'll give both of you my Apple password, right? And then you both can get onto my Netflix, and I will buy movies every week. So then both of you have something to watch because they're old and they don't know how to use the goddamn internet and use like fucking Pirate Bay and that shit. Like they don't even know how to do that. They don't know what the hell a computer is. So, but my dad, I didn't think he was slick enough to figure this one out, but he did. So okay, mom and dad both have Apple TVs. They're running Netflix. They're living their best lives. They're happy, So I was welding at the time, and like I got out of that job and I started dancing again, and I was moving around the country. And my smart ass dad would always call me, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm working right now." And he's like, "Where are you?" I'm like I wouldn't be in Quebec. I would be like in Saskatchewan. I would be like in Manitoba. I would be in Ontario. I'd be somewhere. Okay. Well, my dad started logging into his phone and tracking my my GPS. He started tracking me and seeing where I was, right? And he would call me and he would know where I was. And I wouldn't even know that he knew where I was. I would just tell him I would lie. I would tell him, oh yeah, I'm in Fort Mac. I'm in Edmonton. I'm in camp right now. Well, this motherfucker was literally, sorry, Dad, love you to bits. He was tracking me. He knew where I was. And then one day he came to me. He's like, so Leah, what are you doing? I know you're not welding. And I was like, huh? And he's like, well, first of all, I know there's no strip clubs in Saskatchewan. And you just told me that you were working in Fort Mac. But guess what? Boom, this is where you were. And I was like, motherfucker. He's like, and secondly, you always rolling hard with Gucci's and Louis Vuittons, and you always got cash, and you're always going on vacations. What are you doing? Are you drug dealing? And I'm like, no. And he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, and he's like, he kind of already knew, right? He always knew. My parents always knew, because I'd come home with a boob job or whatever, like I looked like the part. I looked the part. So he's like, whatever you're doing, I just want to make sure you're safe, you're saving your money, you're not being stupid.
I think that's kind of been the case with a lot of creators that I talk to, that, they have a super conservative family or whatever. And in pretty much every single case, they get mad or disown you for a little while, but they typically come around, and then it turns out to be all good in the end.
I think that like I said, in this industry, be 100% that this is what you want, and realize that it's true what they say, the internet is forever. And it just takes that one person to bring down your whole umbrella, in the sense that if you're not open about it and you're trying to hide it, and you tell that one person, and the one person can use it against you, if they can, they will, and they can essentially blow up your entire world. So I have a friend, and she was dating a guy, and when I first met him, okay, essentially the story, what it is if you are putting pictures out there of yourself, and you're photoshopping your face, just be aware that your body, like, you have moles on your body, right? Like, this is a mole, this is a mole, this mole. If you have significant, like, birth effects, or, like, you know what I mean, birthmarks on your body, if you're just showing pictures and you want to conceal your identity, make sure you Photoshop that shit too. Okay? And essentially what that is, that's God's tattoo. God gave you that tattoo. And if it's something that's like a huge mole right here that's going to identify you, doesn't matter how much you blur out your face, they're like, hey, that Emily has a mole right there. It looks just like that one. You know what I mean? And then they're going to start looking at all your own pictures. Then, oh yeah, there's something there. There's something there. Oh wow. And Emily has brown hair, and that person has brown hair. Do you know what I mean? It's only going to take a matter of time before they figure it out. They put like 1 + 1 = 2.
I think it kind of goes back into what we were talking about earlier, with like just trying to be a character, because I mean, it's going to increase your workload so much if you're constantly trying to edit yourself, edit this, edit that, change your face, do all these different things because you think that's what people want to see, or you're trying to, make it just look different than what it is. I mean, not only is it going to come out eventually, but it just adds so much additional unnecessary work that makes being successful so much harder to do that.
That sometimes I will edit some things, because like I also a human, and there's things that I want to change about myself. You know what I mean? Like I have imperfections with my body, or like my face, or whatever, or like my hair, whatever is going on that day. So like we are all you're all succumb to it. I know there are some creators out there that don't use any filters. I'm talking nothing. And I'm like, good for you. Fucking applause. So there's days that you wake up and you just look like a bag of dicks, and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna throw on a filter. Screw it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think everyone does do some editing to some degree, but yeah, but I mean, for the ones that are just completely, they're spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours editing. I mean, it really makes it hard.
I think what happens is that, like I said, I did it too when I first got on Onlyfans. Okay, so I wasn't sure where to begin. So obviously, I did a big no-no. I got in trouble for it too. I signed up in the beginning for other creators' pages, and I didn't know that was a big no-no, And now, like, and I don't mind when my friends, like, I have some women that are actually on your Scotty's group. Can I shout them out? I got Heidi, Miss Heidi. I love her. I got her, and I got Christina Barbie Dolly. She's dope. I got her on my page, and I shout them out all the time. I let them come on. I let them come on my lives. Like, come on in. I don't care. Right? I know you. So yeah, when I first started, I I was like, I was by, oh my God, I was doing professional photo shoots. I was doing, I was getting these bougie hotel rooms that were like $500 a night, you know? I was doing this fucking role play. I was getting the videographer. Like, some of my shoots were like $2,000. Don't do what I did. Don't do that. Okay, so like, by doing that, I was literally setting up my OnlyFans just to be like a goddamn professional website. Do you know what I mean? And like, people are coming to you because they want to see you as a person, not who you are as an actress. You know, if they wanted that shit, that's what Pornhub's for. That's what browsers is for. That's where the pro shit is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, because I think a lot of creators kind of get stuck in that loop, and it's true that you can do a lot better just taking a selfie as you're getting ready for bed than you would spending 10 grand on a professional photo shoot and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think if creators really kind of took that advice to heart and just, took a quick little selfie rather than trying to dress up and do all this stuff, not only does it make it way faster, more efficient, but you actually get a much better response from the fans
Yeah,
that way as well.
I think that's huge. Yeah, like, is that you like? Yeah, sure. I'm sure there's some fans out there that appreciate it when you dress up and look all fancy and stuff. But then, hey, if you just want to stand in front of the mirror while you're doing makeup, take selfies, like, this is what I look like. This is me before bed. This is me before I'm getting ready for work. Like, here's me cooking dinner. Like, just like, here's me dancing in the living room naked. Here's me whatever you're doing. Here's me sitting on the couch watching TV half naked or not even naked, whatever your forte is. But you really don't need to put a ton of work into it. It should be like effortless, not effortless. Like, you don't want to be looking like a trash bag. Maybe that'll sell. I don't know. But you know what I mean? But like, when I first got into it, yeah, I was like, I have these, like, I set this bar so goddamn high. It was so unachievable, and I kept working my ass off to get there, and I was just getting stressed out because I was like, photo shoot after photo shoot after photo shoot, video shoot, video shoot, video shoot. And then also another thing is, the one thing that I would say if you're going to create content with other women or other creators in this industry, for me right now, I want to create content. Like, I have created content with women in the past, and one of them actually, so mad at her, but I get it, I get it. I totally understand. Everyone at some point in their life maybe moves into different transitions into a different life. But I spent a lot of money on this one video shoot. It's probably one of my favorite videos, but I can't sell it now. She deleted her account. Okay, so she wanted to get in the industry. She got in. Me and my fiance, we did some content with her. I love her to best. I'm not going to sit here and trash talk her because I'm happy for her. Do you know what I mean? But we made this beautiful content. It was one of my best sellers. So what happened was she deleted her account. By doing so, I can't use her content anymore. So now that content is garbage, right? But I can't get mad at her. Like, I can't be all like, oh my God, you deleted your account. Like, you know what? That comes with the trade. It comes with any industry. So I would just say, if you are going to shoot content with other creators, just be mindful of the fact that they could potentially, if they're new, maybe if they're an OG, maybe they're going to be a little bit longer, you never know. This industry is constantly changing. Maybe someone wants fucking lottery for $1 billion and hope to share, but they could exit, and you just have to be prepared for that, and don't be like reliant on people, especially like, my fiance and I, we have gotten into some fights, and he will literally take that carpet and pull it from me. So it's another thing. If you are being a content creator, try not just to be only doing boy-girl content. Don't be shooting just with one creator, other woman. Like, make sure you have a little library of things. Make sure you have solo content. Make sure maybe if you're boy-girl, you do some boy-girl content. If you're a girl and a girl, but always make sure you have a little bit of content that you can have on your own.
I think that's a good piece of advice for sure, because
Yeah.
I don't think really, there's probably not many creators that really think about that until it's too late.
Yeah, no, it's happened to me a couple times. At first, I was a little angry, but then at the end of the day, how can I be that selfish? You know, I'm working towards my goal. And if you don't want to be part of that anymore, well, like, go do you, go be happy, go be fucking awesome. I want that for you. You know, I can't be mad at you for not wanting to be on the platform anymore. But it does happen that creators that you work with will one day decide, you know, I don't want to be a part of this. And also on the other side of the fence, if you are a creator and you have shot content with other women, you know, please give that creator the respect and tell them, hey, I'm deleting my account. Because if you delete your account and we still keep tagging you and we're unaware of the fact that you deleted your account, you're putting our account at risk now because we're tagging a person that doesn't even exist. Or we're putting you still on the platform and you don't even exist. So, you know, it comes from both sides. If you are a creator and you are deleting your account, please tell your other creators that you're deleting your account so we can remove your content. And if you're changing your name, same thing. If you're changing your name to from ABC to DFG or whatever, tell the fucking creator so we're not tagging a bad account because, again, OnlyFans will flag you for that, you know? So just be like mindful of that.
So I have this thing now where people they can, which, by the way, if you want to submit your own questions, topics, you know, things for the next podcast, I'll have the link for that down below in the description. So I have a few questions from the audience, and we'll see kind of what you think about some of this stuff. So the first one, this is Sam, and Sam says, if you were starting on OnlyFans from scratch in 2023, what's the best way to go about it?
Okay. So if I was going to start an OnlyFans right now, currently, before I even get on the platform, before I even start, like, actually, no, I would get verified first, but I wouldn't do anything with my platform yet. I would make sure that I have at least 100 pictures, 100, okay? 50, 100, whatever. I would get some videos, get at least 5 videos, pre-made, make them, okay? So that when you finally get on the platform, even before you start promoting this, don't even tell anyone, just get on the platform, get verified, okay? And then I would, you know, don't put too much effort into making your banner, like everything, your profile picture, everything, you know, just make it like super simple because I find that OnlyFans is constant. I'm constantly changing things on my page, you know, but you're beginning to just start fresh, start chill, like just, you're still in first year. You're not in fifth yet. So you want to get the pictures on, get familiar with how the platform works. How do you upload? How do you start a campaign? How do you ask your DMs? Like all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to learn these things first, right? You also want to be able to have content to sell to somebody, right? Because like, no one's gonna come to your page if you are selling it for $50, but you have one video, you know, one picture. You know, they're gonna be like, what else is you got? Like, what else do you have for me? You something hidden that I don't know, but you want to make sure that you have something to offer your fan base before you go about having a platform.
I think the way I would answer that question is, you know, play around with which social media platforms you like, whether that's TikTok, YouTube, whatever social media platforms you sort of resonate with, and make sure that you have the ability to, you know, post on those platforms consistently, and that you are, you know, that you at least semi enjoy it, because you can open up the floodgates to OnlyFans anytime that you choose. So learning to sort of, you know, build your social media following, I would say is probably the most important, because, you know, you can do social media for a year, and, you know, if you can prove to be consistent on that, you can say, okay, I've got enough fans. Now I can open the door to OnlyFans, and boom, you've got this huge kind of like jump start,
Yeah.
as opposed to like,
Right. Yeah.
you know, I think a lot of creators come into it the wrong way. They go into it not really thinking about social media as much, and they put all this time and effort into their page, and then there's like, nobody's here. It's like, well,
Yeah. That's a girl. I actually, you know what's so crazy? Oh my God, Kate, that's like another thing. Okay, so I came to realize this. It doesn't matter how much content you have or how good it is, because if you're not focusing on your socials and you're not figuring out how to funnel them to your page, Doesn't matter if you have 1,000 pictures. Doesn't matter if you have 100,000, 1,200 videos. If you don't find a way to get fans to your page, they're not going to know how fucking awesome you are. Do you know what I mean? So I think you're right on the aspect that you need to be like on top of your social medias and building that audience. Because like, again, you can have the best page in the world, but no one's going to know how amazing it is if you don't have anyone coming to your page. And then if you build this amazing page and you don't have the socials, why isn't anyone coming? You know? So yeah, I really like Scotty's course, so it's fucking amazing. Lots of good tips in there. I'm sure we'll get to that.
Appreciate that. So the next one, this is Jessa, and she says, I'm currently working a 9-to-5 job and I hate it. I've been curious about OnlyFans for a while. I want to take the leap, but I'm worried that if I start OnlyFans, my family will not be accepting of it since they're very old school. I will also lose my job if they find out that I'm doing OnlyFans, and if I can't get OnlyFans to work, then it will all be for nothing. What should I do?
No, don't do it then. That's like, no matter like, I know in everybody's mind, like money is the goal, but again, OnlyFans and all these platforms isn't what it used to be. It's not a simple cakewalk. You're not going to walk in the door and make $2,000 unless you already have a social media following. But still, like if it's going to put your livelihood in jeopardy, if it's going to cause friction with your family, like maybe instead of just, going into it blind and just hoping for the best, that's not the best way to do things in life. You want to make sure you do your due diligence. It's just like when you're investing in a stock, or you're going to go to school, or like, you're doing crypto, whatever the hell you're doing. You want to make sure that you literally look at the entire landscape of obstacles before you just jump in. You want to see how your money is going to be invested. So yeah, like obviously you want to, maybe with your family, you just kind of want to be like throwing out little like teasers, like, oh, what do you guys think of OnlyFans? If they're like completely like, no, like, like, do you really want to risk your relationship with your family for money? Because at the end of the day, like I've said this a million times before, like, yeah, money is fucking awesome, but money's always gonna be there. Money's not going anywhere. You can always find a way to make money, but people can't be replaced.
Well, what I would say is if you're doing it because you think it's a quick money hustle, then don't do it. But if you're doing it because you're legitimately into that career path and you're okay, like if you think of the long-term results and you think like, that when you're 60 years old, you're going to have regret not having done it, then that's a different story than just going into it thinking, oh yeah, this is an easy way to make money. Another thing I would say is kind of similar to my previous answers, that if you want to test, like if you want to test it and make sure that it's actually going to work before you make the leap, then I would suggest, spending the next 1, 2, or 3 years building up your social media accounts, just doing pure vanilla content. And then you can decide in 2 years from now, like, okay, do I want to do OnlyFans? If so, then you can basically flip the switch with almost a guarantee of being successful.
Nailed it. I like your answer better. You got my vote.
But yeah, so anyway, so the next one, this is Delilah or Dahlia. Dahlia says, right now I'm posting on Reddit every day. I'm currently top 5%, but I can't ever seem to grow past that. What is the best way to get more fans on my page?
Well, is she only focusing on Reddit? Because like, okay, so like you don't want to be like solely like dependent on just one platform, because at any time that platform could be taken away for you. And that's also true with like OnlyFans. Like there are other platforms that you can dabble in. You can go like Playboy, you can go Fansly, you can go I didn't even know it's around anymore, Pocket Stars, go FanView, blah 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 blah, Slushy, blah blah blah. But like I know that I say these things, but I'm also very busy right now. I have one foot in OnlyFans, one foot in other things. So I'm trying to have both feet in one thing so I can give it my full attention. But like, you want to, if you're just on Reddit, maybe you should branch out and try like another platform, like try TikTok or try Instagram or try Facebook. Cause like at the end of the day, if your Reddit ever gets pulled from you, if you ever get flagged, if you ever get taken away, you literally just lost that only platform that was literally feeding your soul to your, or feeding OnlyFans, right? So you want to make sure that you have maybe a couple other like sources to pull fans from and not just solely depend on one.
Yeah, I think my answer would be pretty much the same, the same kind of version of what you said. What I would say is, when you think about any creator who's doing, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, $100,000 per month, what's the one thing they all have in common? Well, they all have a strong personal brand on the mainstream social channels like YouTube and TikTok, Instagram, things like that. And so if you're looking at any high earning creator, it's because they have an extremely loyal fan base. They've shown their real personality on the main social media platforms, and that's what ultimately leads to having a huge audience that's loyal to whatever it is that you're trying to promote.
Yeah,
So,
great.
so that's pretty much it for the questions. So for those of you, if you have questions, topics, stories, anything, again, I'll have the link down below. You can submit your stuff, and I will potentially bring it up on the next podcast. So, Leah, do you have like, with everything you're doing right now, is it kind of a means to an end? Do you have other business plans in mind, or like, what is kind of the end
Oh
goal?
my god. Well, okay, so I currently have like one foot in OnlyFans and like one foot in other aspects of my life. So currently I'm traveling across Canada and some people are like, why? Why are you doing this? So my mom, okay, so a couple years ago when we had this huge fire in BC, I like purchased, you're like, what the fuck? My mom never goes on vacation. So she wanted to go to this yoga retreat. It was like 5 Gs. So I like paid for me, my sister, and my mom to go. And then my stepdad, he's got really bad heart issues. So she like bailed out on it. So then then I took another friend of mine and we actually made content. It's right off. It's,
Nice.
so then what happened was I was going to take my mom to Mexico and she couldn't go. And then essentially, my mom told me a couple months ago, she was like, I'm going to be in Halifax. And I was like, you're going to be in Halifax? When are you going to be in Halifax, Mom? And I've always wanted to go to Nova Scotia. And after finding out about Jimmy Kimmel, I think, talk about dildo in Newfoundland, I was like, that's it. I'm going. You know, who can say that they've been a dildo? Everyone's got a little dildo in them. That'll be me on Instagram and I can get away with it. You know? But yeah, I'm super excited to go there. And I just wanted to go across, see my mom in Halifax, have that like mother-daughter kind of like little vacation. Even if it's Halifax, I don't give a fuck. Take you out for lobster, Mom. We're gonna have a blast. I do believe in the metaverse. Don't judge me and all that stuff. And I think that something's coming. Like there's a reason that Fortnite, I think it was, they invested like $1 billion into the metaverse. And like Apple, yes, I'm one of those nerds that have the metaverse glasses, okay? That's freaking amazing. I love them. The Facebook ones, though, not the Apple ones that cost
That was actually one of the main reasons that we got the Quest 2 Pro, because we're like, I wonder if there's some way that we can promote your OnlyFans
I
in the
know, I
metaverse
thought the
somehow. It's
same
got an
dude, I
audience
thought
in
the
there.
same thing. I actually was
We're
like,
still trying to figure it out.
oh man, I was actually like, okay, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go on Facebook Horizons and I'm gonna set up Leah's Playhouse. And then I was like, I'm gonna go on the Sandbox and buy virtual land. And then I'm gonna set up Leah's Playhouse. And then I'm gonna make it like, I was like, ooh, maybe I can set it up like it's a store. And then I can rent pieces in my house, you know? And then I thought, I'll just tell you my thought, and then someone's gonna steal it. You might even cut it out. So only you wouldn't even cut it out and steal it. I'll know, Scotty. So essentially, I, but like you could do like crypto pennies, and then you do like Pichu pennies, then you do like Finding Nemo and like fucking Elmo and like Cookie Monster and like fall into like games and like other shit, right? But it's like then you can have different models. Then if you buy that model's NFT, then it comes with worn panties that she wore. Do you know what I mean? But like that is a whole different ball game that Leah does not have time for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've actually been thinking about a lot of the same things, not that exact thing, but like, in terms of, Yeah, in terms of like being able to build an audience inside of the metaverse and then offer various types of NFTs and stuff like that. There's a platform called Lemon Social that's focusing on NFTs and the metaverse and all. I
That
don't
is
necessarily think that yeah, I don't necessarily think the technology is there quite yet, but I definitely think it's coming eventually. So yeah, we're gonna keep an eye out for whenever it becomes a little
yeah.
bit
Well, it's
more
always
accepted, I guess.
it's always good to actually be like ahead of the game before it actually comes. You know what I mean? That was one of the reasons that I bought the VR set. I do want to buy the Apple one, but it's 3Gs, man. And like it's like everything. It's like the metaverse Facebook one with Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. That VR headset is literally like the iPhone one. Like you know
Yeah,
what I mean? So like, and it's so freaking heavy. God, it hurts your neck. But it's really freaking cool that you can go on there. The shitty thing is like you can't be like I tried. I couldn't figure out how to be Leah's Playhouse. You know what I mean? I was like, I can be
yeah,
Leah's Playhouse.
yeah. So I'll have your Instagram and all your stuff linked below this video. Are what other socials are the best way people can learn more about you?
Oh, Instagram for now. Instagram for sure. My Twitter is just kind of like weird. You know, I do have Twitter. Twitter, Instagram, my website, go on my page, you know. So I think the best way to find me is probably my Instagram.
So the last question I finish off with everybody is if you could give the younger version of yourself one piece of advice, what would that be?
So there's this saying my dad used to always say to me, how does it go now? I think it's go for but the grace of God go I. Do you know what that saying means?
Yeah.
Go for but the grace of God go I. So story time's Leah. So when I was younger, we used to drive down Hastings. Hastings is like a prominent street in Vancouver. And there's like all these homeless people. And I would like be like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be like that. I'm never gonna be homeless. I'm never gonna have anything bad happen to me, blah, blah, blah. And then like I was young, my dad wouldn't explain it to me. He told me this quote. I never understood what it meant. And then when I got older, he finally explained it to me. Essentially, it means that some of these people didn't just wake up one day and decide to be a freaking crackhead. Some of these people didn't wake up one day and decide to lose a leg. Some of these people didn't wake up one day and just decide to like lose their arm. Something happened to them in their lifetime that put them in that situation, whether they got hit by a car, maybe they hit by a car and developed a drug habit because of their pain meds, and then they got addicted to drugs. Maybe they got struck by lightning, lost their leg, maybe they got hit by a drunk driver. Who fucking knows, you know? But at any given time, something bad could happen to you, right? And you're now in that situation. It's not like you planned for that. So that's the same as social media, same with OnlyFans, same with anything. So just remember where you came from and just be humble. You know, that was a really thing I had to learn, just be humble and just be kind, you know, because we're all working towards the same goal. But, you know, just try to do it a nice way.